Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for! That's what it's all about! Lego, you're getting really excited about a trade rumor. Yeah, I know, but this is such a good one. This is why I wanted to talk about it. So today, we're heading over to our very favorite Central Division team that houses one of the best defensemen in the world, Minnesota. Then obviously, we're talking about Brock Faber. But no, just kidding. We're not actually talking about one of the best defensemen in the world. Instead, we are talking about Jesper Wallstedt, a guy whose name we have brought up in the past on this YouTube channel because he may or may not be a trade option. And yeah, we already made a video over here. Jesper Wallstedt could get traded to the Montreal Canadiens. There also was another commentary over here. Jonathan Toews to Edmonton. Jesper Wallstedt out. This was 2 weeks ago, so we're just going to go out there and refresh the situation. Long story short, Minnesota's going for it this year. They're a good team. They got some good players. The addition of Quinn Hughes absolutely boosted the offensive capability of this squad. And they may want to go hunting a little bit more for this season. Jesper Wallstedt has kind of hit a brick wall ever since the past few games here or so. Yes, there was a period where he was the top goaltender in the NHL in save percentage, but this little stint right here, around the beginning of January-ish, really pulled him down the map. Philip Gustafsson is the number one in Minnesota. No matter how good Wallstedt is or could be this season, that's Gustafsson's spot to lose. And so now we have the crazy idea that has entered the stratosphere of NHL trade possibilities that says that Jesper Wallstedt, arguably the best goaltender in the NHL under the age of 24, could be available on the trade market. And we're heading over onto yardbaker.com and TSN to dive into whether or not my favorite team could go out there and get him. Take a look at this article posted by Jackson Weber, a surprise Canadian team labeled the best fit for Jesper Wallstedt. Talk has circulated about a fit with the Ottawa Senators, who have struggled at this position in the year. Some chatter about the Oilers as well. But it's Marty Biron on TSN who went out there and said this: I'm looking at the Vancouver Canucks as a potential destination for Jesper Wallstedt. You're going to say I'm crazy. They have Thatcher Demko. Yeah, but Demko is out for the season now, and I don't know what his health is going to be long term. With Wallstedt, you have a younger player who can develop into a top goalie. I think he's going to be really good, and that could be the next replacement for Thatcher Demko, which, over the years, has really hindered the Canucks by not having consistent health in the crease. So I'm looking at Wallstedt and saying, let's look at the future. Like, Askarov went to San Jose. Wallstedt could go to Vancouver for the future. Now, here's the thing. Jesper Wallstedt has a 2-year, $4.4 million extension. $2.2 million AAV. Year one is this current year. So by the time 2027 rolls around, the guy will need another extension. Whether or not he's playing like the best goaltender in the NHL at that point remains to be seen. But based off of the body of work that he had accomplished this season, I mean, he's still at a .914 save percentage, even with the dip in save percentage the past few games. He's at an .888 in his last 10, an .865 in his last 5, and he is still at a .914 in totality. Now that I realize it, he's only played 23 games on the year, so in his last 10, .886 save percentage, which means the majority of this production came in the first 13 games of the year, which is like, wow. And then you realize, oh wait, the guy went out there and got multiple shutouts over the span of just a few games in November and December. So that's what Jesper Wallstedt is capable of. He's very good. And I like the fact that it's Marty Biron going out there and linking Vancouver to Jesper Wallstedt, because it's like, yeah, he's a goaltender himself. If there's anybody that probably has the right to talk about goalie health and what Thatcher Demko's future could look like, it's probably Marty Biron. Now, you can say whatever it is that you want about Biron, whether or not he actually is smart in the takes that he makes, but Jesper Wallstedt as a Canuck? That would give Alexei Medvedev some pretty good competition long term. Now, let's go out there and read the rest of the piece over here. While a move to Vancouver might sound surprising at first, Wallstedt clearly aligns with the Canucks' rebuild plan, focused on acquiring young players, draft picks, and prospects before hoping to return to contention down the road. Not only does he fit the timeline, but he could also accelerate the process. As we know, a good goalie can mask a lot of issues of the team in front of him, and Wallstedt has the potential to be great. Rutherford, Alvin, and of course, the Minnesota Wild GM Bill Guerin, they had just connected a few months ago in the Quinn Hughes trade. The challenge, however, is that Vancouver already has Demko and Lankinen signed for the next 3 and 4 years, respectively, beyond 25-26, so they would certainly need to move one of them to allow Wallstedt to take over, or at the very least run in tandem with the other. Providing Guerin with a worthy package won't be easy, though it's reported that he is seeking a top 6 center. With Elias Pettersson's name continue, okay, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do Pettersson for Wallstedt. I get that maybe the value would be not that terribly apart, to be honest, but still, I think the Vancouver Canucks probably tried to make a Jesper Wallstedt trade happen without including Elias Pettersson. As good as Wallstedt is, Vancouver still understands the value that EP40 has and could bring to an NHL lineup. I do question, though, when you think about Vancouver and their goaltending situation, obviously Lankinen and Demko are the two guys that were supposed to be the guys. Lankinen earned himself a contract extension last year at $4.5 million, pretty much due to desperation. The Canucks were dealing with some Demko injuries, Lankinen stepped up, and Artie Party Artur could not be trusted in the crease. That was essentially how it went down last year. This time around, Thatcher Demko signed himself an extension, $8.5 million a year for 3 seasons. Vezina nominee. Obviously, when he's at his best, he is worth $8.5, but he hasn't been at his best. He hasn't been available, and now he could be out for the year. Again. Like, this is absolutely not the situation that we thought Thatcher Demko would be presented with over the next few years of that contract. And heck, it is only 1 year of him being hurt and not being an option for Vancouver. Again, you can make the argument that there is more to happen for Demko in years 2, 3, and 4 that he's on right now. I say 2, 3, 4. He's got 1 more year left on the current contract, so years 1, 2, 3 will be starting up soon. But Kevin Lankinen at 4.5, I think a lot of Canucks fans are starting to think that that move was very desperate in their own right as well. I mean, nowadays it's like, yeah, you kind of got no reason to not have Lankinen in their contract because Demko is out. But Vancouver having both of these dudes, and now maybe if they're in the market for a Jesper Wallstedt, that would certainly shake things up a little bit more. It's not easy being a Vancouver Canucks fan trying to answer these questions as to what they could do with their goaltending long term. But with all that said, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on Jesper Wallstedt, Minnesota Wild goaltender, and do you agree with Marty Biron's assessment on TSN that Vancouver could be a prime destination for this young Swedish netminder? He is one of the best young goalies in the NHL, and that's worth something. So, Vancouver, yay or nay? Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.